Hey, this is Michael Lindsay from Vital MX. We're out here riding the 2019 CRF450R Works Edition out at the private track known as Cheney Ranch. So we're gonna answer one simple question today. Is this bike worth $2,000 more than the production bike? If you really wanna learn what's new about that bike, we have a whole separate video where you can learn about the chassis changes and engine changes that all kind of carry over into this. We're really gonna just talk about what makes the Works Edition unique and if it's really a better buy. So starting off visually, of course, it has a full HRC team kit, comes with the standard 94. A lot of the graphics are inlaid into the plastic except for the number plates, so you can switch that out and put whatever number you want on. If you hit throttle jockey up, you can get exact HRC team kits. They're the company that makes them. And then from there, it starts to get to more of the performance bits. It has DID's LTX rim, which is a lot stronger than the standard rim. And then it goes to a little bit nicer chain, a gold one. You get into the fork coatings, which is really nice. It has a full Kashima upper and a Ti-Nitride lower. And then it also has Yoshimura slip-ons, full titanium. They're 1.5 pounds down, more performance there. And a hand-ported cylinder head. It's the standard cylinder head pulled off the line, and it's a hand porting that's pretty similar to the HRC team's own spec. Just from a simple price breakdown, if you add up the price of all these upgrades, you're actually getting more for your money's worth. Between just the rims, the pipe, and the graphics, you've already pretty close to hit the $2,000 mark. Then from there, there's, like I said, you've got even coated triple clamps, and then the suspension is really more of a bonus buy at that point. To take your stock stuff off and have it coated, you'd be adding on another $1,000, $1,200 over what this is. So just in pure monetary value, if you're the kind of guy that's gonna buy a 450 and you know you don't wanna leave it stock, this is already a step in the right direction budget-wise and something unique most people won't be able to get their hands on. Now, actually out on the track, how different is it? The suspension settings are the same, but surprisingly, they do feel quite a bit different with the coatings. They are a little bit more plush and supple initially, and it really rides a little bit better on the low speed bumps, but it actually feels a little bit better on high speed as well. It's partially because the forks are traveling in such a smooth fashion through the stroke. They're getting into that speed sensitive, deeper part of the stroke quicker, and it just has a better overall feel. I was actually surprised that on this bike, even though it's more supple, I wasn't going as stiff as I did on a standard bike. I just went a little bit quicker on the rebound to get to recover a little more between some of the chop. And then the shock setting, a little bit on high speed, it really was just that little bit extra plush thanks to the coatings. Engine performance wise, it's just a little bit more aggressive. And I don't say like that it has a bigger bark, it's more of a crispness. It really has its own engine mapping specifically for every gear to match this exhaust and this head, and it's really noticeable. In the standard mapping, it's a little bit more responsive initially, just a little bit nicer and connected feeling to the hand, and due to the pipes and the cylinder head porting, it's also much better on the top end. It just continues to pull that bit longer and a bit cleaner into the over rev instead of feeling like the bike noses over so much. It just kind of has that little bit better taper at the top end. And then jumping to map 3 kind of gets you into more of a low to mid feel. I feel like it gives a tad bit up on top, but it makes the bottom end just that nice bit of aggressive. It's really fun when you're planning into big powdery berms, and it just has this really playful feel in the mid-range. It pulls a little longer there, and it doesn't feel like it rips through the range quite as quick. So a little bit better for the guys that want more of that torque in the mid-range. Like I said, other than that, it gains all the same upgrades as the normal 2019. There is the new frame, the actual standard porting before it was even massaged by the factory, the new handlebars, triple clamps, all these new suspension settings. So everything that carries over from the 19, the chassis changes we talked about that were a big improvement, really carries over in this, and then you get that additional parts. And like I said, the ultimate question I'm answering, is it worth $2,000 more? If I'm gonna buy a 450 and I know I'm not gonna leave it stock and I want a slip-on, I want cool suspension, I would buy this. Simple. When you do the math, it's cheaper, it's cool looking, and it is legitly better than the standard 19. And I think that's all that needs to be answered.